Our world is soaring toward 2012. Time is speeding up. Chaos is shifting into a new level, and we feel the pull to unlock the mysteries of the universe. Timeless spiritual wisdom offers the point of stability to navigate these times and to open our greatest potential. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the fun and knowledge of visionary best-selling authors Shri and Kira as they explore these mysteries and invite your higher love to come forward. And now, here are Shri and Kira.
Namaste, I am wisdom teacher Sri Ram Ka.
And I am Kira Ra, and I am delighted to share this moment of this cycle with you because, Sri, that's where we're going today. You know, what is it about numerology that fascinates us? What is it about cycles? Do the two tie together, numerology and cycles? Because you and I are sitting here creating this show right now on kind of one of those day of days. It is
December 12th, 2012.
Ooh.
So consider, beloved listener, consider 12, 12, 12.
Mm-hmm.
That is a magical sequence of numbers. And it's more than just about numbers, but this is where numerology and cycles find their power, their emphasis.
And you know, Shri, this is ancient. This has been on this planet forever.
Absolutely. I mean, it ties in some ways to astrology from its highest standpoint.
Well, exactly. This is ascended standpoint.
Because when the planetary bodies align in a certain way, they're reflecting energies to our planet in a certain way. It's kind of like, have you ever noticed when you drive in certain coastal areas, the trees grow sideways because the wind is blowing, you know?
I love that, actually. I love how all of a sudden you go, how did that tree do that? Because it's unnatural to, you know, at Tosa La Laguna, right? We have this amazing eucalyptus tree that kind of like beacons. It's right in front of our large pyramid at the welcome dock. And I love gazing at that tree because it's exactly what it reminds me of.
Yeah, and then so just as the wind blows and a tree might grow sideways, so too as energies flow in our universe, they tend to create a, let's just say, an emphasis. There are certain directions and flows that are downstream and certain directions that are upstream. And you know how we love downstream.
And upstream. And you know, I'm gazing around the room that we're recording this, and I'm gazing at all of this Egyptian pharaonic art. And I'm looking at all of the numerical sequences, the numbers of things that are painted, the numbers that are around, the amounts of people. And one of the common elements we see is this trinity energy. I mean, let's look at that, because trinity energy has really been around forever. You know, there's been lots and lots of movies out there. Zeitgeist certainly was one of the first ones to make this very popular for people to understand that a lot of the myths and religious concepts are borrowed, and a lot of them are refinements of another, and concepts are refinements of another. And so when we look at a day like 12, 12, 12, and of course the inverse that's coming up very shortly, 12, 21, 12, yes, you see that there's a lot of energy, there's a lot of prophecy, and it's all about these numerological cycles that are coming forward and the Trinity overlay.
Well, the Trinity is indeed one of the most powerful forms and energies to begin to appreciate. Now, a Trinity, the most basic form of a Trinity is a pyramid. It's a triangle.
Correct.
And consider how many amazing pyramids there are and the fascination with the triangle. And anybody who has ever milked a cow knows that a three-legged stool is solid. There is a foundation in a trinity. It's an unshakable energy. Just as a pyramid or a triangle has this powerful, energetic presence to it.
You know, there's also, Shri, when you create a pyramid, when you create a triangle, when you create a trinity, it points to the light. It is a direction. It is a beacon. Think about it. You know, even as people talk about, well, the pyramids on the Giza Plateau and the way they align with the stars, all of these trinity energies point to the light. You know, I giggle. I think of even in recent times, and when you look at hidden symbology in many things of our current moment on the planet, why did Neo's girlfriend in The Matrix, why was her name Trinity? Why did the dark have to stand next to the Trinity that was pointing to the light? Why did he need the Trinity to open the gateway to find his true self? There's so much symbology and energy around the Trinities. And this is why, you know, we've been very, very blessed because we are living in a moment right now that only happens about every 100 years. And that is, starting with 2001, we had 111.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had 222, 333, 444. 12, 12, 12 culminates a cycle. It culminates an energy, a preparation, a grand trinity that will not return to this planet until January 1, 2101. So why did you choose to be incarnated now? Why did you choose to be here for this cycle now, for this moment now? These are the grander questions, and why it's important to go to the deeper meaning of today. Because let's face it, as we move forward from here on out, and it doesn't matter when you're listening to this, numerology and cycles are all about the recognition that you have chosen a specific moment in time. You chose your birth date. There's the whole numerology around that. You chose this linear time frame. You chose these experiences, and how is this unfolding? Because when you can understand that from the personal internal wisdom of the self-ascended self, you can let go of the confusion of the external. I mean, Sri, how many people out there have a different prophecy for 12, 12, 12, or 12, 21, 12, or any date?
Or any so-called magical date.
Exactly.
Because there's lots of perspectives. There's lots of people who have ideas about what it means. And what we're here to do is to invite you to just bring your presence, bring your own divine wisdom to this and see what shows up in your consciousness. Because 12, 12, 12 is really 3, 3, 3. 2 and a 1, a 2 and a 1, and a 2 and a 1. And a 3, 3, 3 is a 9.
Which in itself is a trinity by a trinity.
A
Which
trinity
I
of a trinity.
I just love. And that is one of the magical things about the 12-12-12 date. And, you know, certainly you can play with numbers. And one of the gifts, and Shri and I are going to be consolidating into an easy-to-use guide to help you assist this, is in 2011, we were really blessed. You know, well, we're always blessed, but we were really blessed to be gifted with a complete series that was ensouled through the archangels that is really the 12 steps to ascension. And in the 12 steps to ascension, they gave us the greater wisdom of the numbers, actually 0 through 12.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at these greater numbers in the context of the numerological sequence of a moment you are seeking to discern, what this information does, Shri, is it ignites you. It opens up the greater wisdom within so that it's not only offering you a key, so to speak, it's offering you the opportunity to find the purer answer without telling you what a belief system would want you to hear. And it is just so magical because I remember years and years and years ago, I think probably a lot of you listening have done this. Dan Millman had a book out. I think it was Dan Millman about numbers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
I remember that.
Gosh, I'm probably dating myself. I mean, this is many, many years ago. What street? Maybe 15 years ago now? 20 years ago?
It
was a while ago.
I tuned in with it in the early 90s.
Okay, so early 90s, I hate to say, is almost 20 years ago. Anyway, I found myself fascinated by that book. And of course, I think most of us begin by going, oh, my birthday, right? You want to look at your birthday and what that means. And while the book was a great start and a great education, what I found limiting over the years was that my experiences, my personal experiences, and I suspect a lot of you listening, your personal experiences, always outside the context of a limited definition of what a number is. And I really encourage you, go to our website, go to shriandkira.com, click on the free Archangelic Messages, and go to the 12 Steps of Ascension series and read every single message. And as I mentioned, Shri and I have been given a lot more information around the series, and we're going to be turning it into a small reference book because that's really where we're at today is how do we open up our greater intuitive filter to numerology and cycles, and how do we navigate them?
And so these numbers, consider that in the numbering system that we all are familiar with, it starts with a 0.
Right.
And goes to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that's it.
Right. And you know,
that's what you got.
And I'm giggling because even the 0 was a concept that was not always there.
Exactly.
You know?
And so that's the raw material, so to speak. And each of those numbers is either a combination of energies or has a unique representation unto itself. And so as we sit here contemplating 12, 12, 12,
and beyond,
or 3, 3, 3,
Or 9.
Or 9. Isn't it wonderful how they all add up to the same place again?
That's what I love.
3 threes is a 9. 9 and 3 is a 12.
I know,
3 12s.
You can't get away from it. I love that. It's magical.
You can't get away from it. Is exactly right. And so consider that you have a day in the calendar that's truly a day of completion, a day of great nowness, because the 12 is the completion of your mastery in so many ways, because it is the triangle, it is the pyramid, and 2 pyramids make a Merkaba, and the 3 becomes the 9, which is infinite space. It's just
it keeps going and going and going.
And so we're at a day of magical manifestation, because the cycle is going to begin anew.
And that's the beauty, is that whenever we have a cycle that begins new, it means that we have transformed from a previous cycle. And for a lot of us, especially as you've been heading into this period of time, I would suspect a lot of you listening in on the show right now have felt a sense of ending. And this might have been a very hard time for you. I know myself, I've been navigating a lot of things that have been like, wow, just when you think something is completed, it's not quite done, then it is done. And it's this navigation of the cycle, this navigation of the process. And as we dive into the greater exploration of the archangelic revelation of these numbers, and in this show, we're going to specifically talk about the 12, we're going to specifically talk about the 3, and we're going to specifically talk about the 9, what you're going to discover is that you are at a moment of great revelation and self-ascension. This is the moment of self-ascension. We are heading into the next cycle. We're already in it. Now, there's lots of other things that are going on around it, but we're already in it. And that's what this show is going to explain and offer to you. And I really encourage you during the break, if you don't have a pen, get one. You don't have a piece of paper, get it. Write down again, ShriandKira.com. Go to the free Archangelic Messages, read, print, digest the entire 12 Steps to Ascension series, because we are loved so much, Shri, that we've already been given all this information. Now it's our time to use it.
And to use information means to comprehend it. Sometimes we take a look at something and we go, interesting. And then another time you look at it and you go, oh, enlightening.
Or you fall asleep the first time you read it because you're not ready.
And so, the information is as meaningful as the moment at which you apprehend it. Mm-hmm. And so here we are, beloved listeners, at 12-12-12, which is in its own right a magical date. And as we contemplate the inverse of those 12s into a 21, coming to 12-21-2012, and we know that there's so much talk about the alignment of the cosmos, that's an entirely different type of culmination than we're experiencing here on 12-12-12. We're going to explore this more. We're going to offer you the detail. We invite you to get that pen and paper ready, because we're going to be right back after these messages.
Namaste, beloved one. This is Kira Ra, and I am inviting you to take a journey of the soul in the land of the heart. Imagine your life free from chaos and filled with creative clarity. Imagine waking up each day in your private lakefront casita, greeted by brilliant sun, flowers, and birds. It is here that you will effortlessly resurrect your divine blueprint in pristine energy. Yes, I am inviting you to join us for a personal resurrection vacation retreat at beautiful Lake Atatlan, Guatemala. Here, you can rejuvenate your life as you indulge in Tosa spa cuisine, private healing sessions, yoga, tai chi, meditation, and loving support. Imagine enjoying pure air, zero noise pollution, and endless stars in this ascended nirvana. The time is now to claim your true joy. Learn more by visiting ShriandKira.com and just click on the Resurrection Vacation Treat page. Tosa La Laguna, healing lives, healing hearts. We welcome you home.
Welcome back. We're glad you're with us. And today we are exploring numerology, cycles, and inspired information to lift us Now, I was going to say enlighten us, but I like enlift us.
I like enlift, Sri. I think that's great. Sri's enlifting, and I just love it. You know, before the break, we were sharing that we're going to dive specifically into the 3 numbers that are around this show, because we're recording this show on 12/12/12. And it doesn't matter when you're listening to this show, because what matters is that you're listening to it right now. And the energy that we are transmitting, the energy that we are offering to you, the energy that is opening to you right now means this is the moment you're ready to receive this information. And if by the time you listen to this show, we've already published our book on numerology and cycles that is around the 12 Steps to Ascension, then grab the book and look at it. And if not, go to shriandkira.com, go to the Angelic Messages, it's free, and read the 12 Steps to Ascension series, because we are loved so much. We are loved so much that all the information we need, everything we need is always given to us. It's just a question of when are we ready to find it. Kind of like the pharmacopoeia of herbs on the planet, right? Mm-hmm. The earth was created with everything we needed to sustain and heal ourselves. It's just a question of when we discover it. Now, Sri, today it's 12/12/12, and you know, this is one of the things I want to share as we dive into this. If you connect with the trinity of the number, and think about it, even your birth date is a trinity, isn't it? You've always got a month, a day, and a year. So it's constantly a trinity. We are constantly surrounded by this trinity energy. And the trinity energy is the pervasive energy in all numerological sequences. And the more that you pay attention, the more that you'll find that. And so number 12, let's just I'm going to give you the overview, and then Sri and I are going to dive into that. 12 is a trinity of itself. Now, I want you to take that in, because the 12 represents a union. It's the union of you, it's the union of your soul, and the union of your physical vessel. It is the union of you, your soul, and your vessel. And we're going to talk a lot more about that in just a moment. Then, if we take the 12 and reduce it to a 3, well, the 3 is actually the trinity of origination. The 3 is the essential trinity. It takes us into that original state, and it also is what activates our cosmic chakras. Now, we actually have 144 chakras that are ignited when we birth our divine galactic blueprint, which is the 12 points of the ascended chakras. And this is a whole other teaching. You can learn all about it at our website. And then finally, we look at the 9, right? The 3 by the 3. And the 9 is the energy of the 9th wave. It is the trinity times a trinity. And so when we gaze at numerical sequences, when we gaze at numerical cycles, the information that we're sharing with you is information that was gifted through the archangelic realm, because you're being given the keys. You're being given the keys to unlock your ascended crystalline DNA. And the only way you can do that is through self-discovery, not through taking in what somebody else tells you you should believe or do. And this is why we are loved so much that we are given this information. So let's go back and look at the 12. You know, the 12 is the trinity of itself.
The trinity of itself. And as this information came through, this number 12 was offered as divine service in action. Now consider that for a moment. Divine service in action. Because as Kira said earlier, 12 is the union of you, your divine soul, and your divine vessel. Well, let's break that down just a little further.
Let's do it.
The 1 is the oneness.
Right.
Oneness, all that is, everything unified, one. Whereas the 2 is divine union.
I love that.
So consider the energy of 2 as sacred union. So as we look at you, your divine soul, and your divine vessel, then the union is of you, meaning the oneness.
Correct.
Also being in union with the sacred union of your soul and your vessel.
Isn't that so beautiful? So when you think about, I mean, Sri, this is such a dance. Like right now, I just close my eyes and I'm waltzing with you. And I say that with all due respect, because when you first look at the union of your soul with your vessel, it's the recognition and the honoring of you chose life in this form.
Yes.
You chose to be here, and you chose to be on this planet at this particular time. And when we can give gratitude for that, regardless of what the outer world is trying to present to us, when we can just give gratitude for the fact of the vessel that is housing the truth of who we are, we find our sacred union. Sacred union has nothing to do with finding an external partner. That's a form of sacred union. but it's when we can take that sacred union and integrate it with the oneness. Then we find the 12. It's the oneness with the sacred union, and the Trinity is birthed again. Wholeness.
Wholeness. You know, and this is one of those wondrous spiritual paradoxes, because if we could say to you, everything is one, and you'd nod your head going, oh yeah.
And everybody says that. Oh, we're one.
And yet, who's watching?
And who's the one?
and who's noticing that there's only one?
Exactly.
See, consciousness, the paradox is we've already split ourselves into this multidimensional experience. We've split ourselves into multiple expressions. And so there is the one recognizing the one. There is the sacred union, which is the restoration of the oneness from the multiplicity.
Well, you know, now forgive me because I'm going to have to sing it, but there is this beautiful song and the lyrics are simple, and it is, there is only one of us. In your eyes it's me I see. There is only one of us. You are my reflection.
Yes.
There is only one. In the context of the 12, I feel the words of that song, because you could sing that in the mirror to yourself, as you could gaze into the eyes of all around you, in seeing the mastery of the 12 versus the rhetoric of the one.
And so there's a wonderful expansion that can happen for each and every one of us, whether you're gazing in the mirror or simply gazing at the numerals. In the one of the oneness and the two of union comes the recognition that mastery is already attained through the unification of all energies.
There it is.
And there's your 1, 2 equaling 3. We're back to the 3.
Which I love, because, you know, of course, that's the next number that we're going to. And the 3 is that trinity of origination. It's a very, very powerful number. And, you know, I remember, Shri, when this beautiful series, the 12 Steps to Ascension, came in, this particular discourse was ensouled through the Mary Trinity. It had this beautiful feminine energy to it, and I love how you just took this 1 and 2 mastery that brought us back to the 3, to this Trinity of origination.
And the Trinity energy, one of the gifts that was given, I want to share with you right now, because this is actually a spiritual practice
Indeed.
that you can approach on your own. And that is to consider the 3 as the 3-sided pyramid. Now, many people over history have called this 3-sided energy a dragon energy, a Kundalini energy, because as Kira shared earlier, it does point to heaven.
Now, I'm giggling because I'm thinking about all the dragons all over our house.
Yes.
Shri and I actually have some very giant, I'm not kidding, hand-carved giant dragons, and people walk into the house. I remember one time a good friend of mine walked in and went, oh, I'm really worried about you, because she didn't understand the symbolism.
Beautiful, yeah, and there's a fluidity because the energy is floating in all directions. Also, the propulsion of energy that comes from a triangle or a pyramid is one that creates a river of flow. Mm-hmm. So one of the practices that we were invited to check out, to try, was to imagine a 3-sided pyramid at the base of your spine.
Whew, you know what? I just had to sit up to do that. So if you're not, sit up straight or lay down if you can right now. Breathe and imagine a 3-sided pyramid at the base of your spine. Just kind of take that in.
And as you breathe that in, allow yourself to connect with that energy. And you begin to form a singular ray that becomes a triangular shape at the base of the spine. And it's not static. It moves and it flows. And this is the trinity of origination.
You know, I actually just felt that, Shri. It was like I got this shot of light through my whole system.
Many people call this the Kundalini, that there is a rebirth, there is an ignition, and that what we're offering you through this practice is an opportunity to move beyond an explanation and have an understanding, have an experience of the trinity of divine origination.
Wow, I keep losing my breath because it's so powerful.
And so this wondrous triangle, the 3, placing it at the base of the spine and connecting with that ray of energy, is an ignition.
Whew, it sure does. I mean, I really feel that. You know, and when we go through the Trinity of Origination, what happens is this: as you And as you breathe this up, as you bring this energy up, at the heart is where we ignite the Divine Galactic Blueprint. And when we ignite our Divine Galactic Blueprint, that is our ascended chakra system. And when the Divine Galactic Blueprint ignites, it ignites 12 new chakras, 12 ascended chakras that radiate the fullness of light, that when we can honestly embody this powerful 3, literally shoots out 144 rays of light known as the cosmic chakras.
Chakras. You know, there's so much that is birthed from the 3, from the trinity. And that trinity of origination, you know, if you add a 0 to it, a 0 meaning the allness, you know, or the void. Because
right, that's really what it is.
It is, you then create a whole nother scheme of creation.
Oh boy, I keep losing my breath, Sri, because you're taking me, I mean, it's really, if you dive into this, it takes you deeper and deeper and deeper.
And let's play with it for a second. Let's imagine you put 3 dots on a piece of paper. And that 3 dots, you have your 3, but they're linear, they're in a row. So now put 3 dots above those and 3 dots above those.
Woo! Okay, I see it. Now we're at
9.
We
3,
have arrived.
3, and 3.
Exactly. It's that 9th wave, the trinity times the trinity, and the dots really get powerful if you put them on paper. So if you get a chance, or if you haven't done it with Sri right now, put 3 dots in a row, put a little space between them, and make 3 lines of 3 dots so they almost look like a square.
You've created what looks like a square, and one of the things that the archangels are wishing us to understand from this is that with those 3, 3, 3, meaning the trinity, 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 those 9 dots, you can create almost anything. You can start connecting the dots with lines. You can connect the dots with energy and form. You can spin them. What happens when you have the 3, the 3, the 3 is you have an opportunity to experience the material and that which is not material.
Well, you know, this is such a powerful gift because when you enter into that 9th wave, that trinity times the trinity, form becomes formless and the formless can become form. It's that process of the alchemical transformation. It's where the magic and the manifest becomes and is done and undone. And this is such a powerful gift because in that moment what you're saying is, I claim the truth of who I am. You are the alchemical transformer. You are the miracle.
And so as you stare at these dots, look at the space between the dots.
I've got to stop staring. It's like I'm getting altered. I've got to stay present. Stay present.
So you have your 3 dots, and there's a space.
Yes.
A dot, a space, a dot, a space. And as you relax, 3 dots, 3 spaces, you begin to see the wave of interaction that is this alchemical transformation. Something materializes and dematerializes, materializes and dematerializes. In the fabric of time and space, there is an ascension molecule within you that breathes within you. And that ascension molecule is activated as you bring your recognition to the 3, 3, 3.
And there we are, the Trinity times the Trinity. See, that's the blessing. And I'm going again, Giza Plateau, 3 primary pyramids. The 3 times the 3, the pointing to the stars, the connection to the eternal light, the recognition of the 12 becoming the 3, becoming the 9, becoming the eternal 3. It's so profoundly powerful that when we let go of the linear thought and step into the formless form, we recognize and remember our crystalline DNA, and from here we create the ascension rather than feel we have to be part of an ascension.
That's exactly it. And we suddenly see and recognize God force, life force, love force, creation force. One by one, there is infinite energy that has opened into infinite recognition. And deep within you, each and every one of you, is divine love. And the opportunity to step into your resurrection now. A resurrection does not demand your death. It does invite your attention.
Indeed it does. And so, beloved ones, we call your attention now to your ascension, to your resurrection, to your infinite Trinity. Bring your hand to your heart. Bring that smile into your life. And may you know that all is true well.
Thank you for joining us today for 2012 Higher Love. Remember that you can find out more about Sri and Kira by going to SriandKira.com. That's SriandKira.com.